Some friends of mine lived in Russia for a long, long time. And while they were there, nearing the end of their residence in that country, there were soldiers on almost every single corner. It's crazy the fact that they would even put that there. But then what the soldiers were doing may be a bit more terrifying. They were looking into social media accounts of the people, and if you had said anything at all against the Russian government, you'd be taken away. Feels extreme, but this kind of stuff actually happens in the world. It's terrible that so many millions upon millions of Russian citizens suffer from this on a daily basis. And that's something that our freedom of speech protects. The First Amendment allows us to be able to speak freely our opinion and what we want to say, whether it's on public social media sites or just on the street. It's what allows us to be able to give speeches and stand up for ourselves through our own words. And it's really interesting the fact that it's kind of a thing that a lot of people don't know about. Many of the kids my age that are in middle school don't realize just how vital this thing is, because they look at other countries and you realize they're not prospering. The people cannot stand up for themselves because the moment they say something that the country does not like, they're taken away. It's ridiculous. But then there are also limitations to our freedom of speech. As Anissa Weyer would learn, after reading an online story about a creepypasta called Slender Man, she immediately started feeding her friend little bits of it and pieces of it to try to get her to latch onto a story and attack another friend. And eventually she ended up watching her friend stab the other best friend 19 times, landing Anissa a 25-year sentence, an 8-year sentence in juvie, and a 25-year sentence in a mental hospital after that. And the person who did the actual stabbing ended up with a 40-year sentence in a mental institution. Now, that is crazy. And but it's freedom of speech, right? They should be allowed to do that. But in the Schenck versus United Supreme Court, they ruled that if it poses anything that does not contribute to society or a danger that could cause more people to get hurt due to the fact that it was said, it is ruled out as illegal to say. And so this keeps threats and people saying that they're going to murder people or saying that they'll commit arson or something terrible like that. And because that was actually ruled out as illegal in the 1900s. Now, there are also people who have experienced other stories of laying in jail, as in the League of Legends video game, there's a man who, after a game, had made a Facebook post. He's a 19-year-old about doing some pretty terrible things, about killing kindergartners and just the kind of things that you only see in the movies and oh, that'll never happen in real life, but it does. And he ended up facing up to a 10-year sentence for saying that on Facebook. Now, this is a private website, and so they can put in their own rules for what you can say and what you can't. Now, on another case, a Russian 16-year-old had created this basically the Russian equivalent of the FBI, the building of it in a video game, and then blew it up. Now, while he wasn't really saying anything, they ruled it out as him saying that he was preparing for terrorist acts or something like that, and ended up putting him in prison, not juvie, for 5 years. Is the freedom of speech really protecting us here? Because all these stories are just about people landing in jail or just having terrible things happen because they had the freedom to say something or they didn't have the freedom to say something. Now, then you look at other countries, like North Korea, and many communist countries that suppress the freedom of speech. And you see that they're not prospering. The people cannot say what they want to. They cannot stand up for the government that they do not believe in and that is killing the country, whether it's slow or fast. The freedom of speech is essential to being able to have a proper country that can run with like a resilience to bad governments and issues that arise throughout the country. And this is why you never stop fighting for the freedom of speech. It is vital. You cannot truly live a life here on earth without it. Thank you.